So I've been living in the same town for right approximately over 10 years, and I have accumulated a lot of stuff. I need to do a mass liquidation, and then I need to be able to move to a country where I don't speak the language. And in this process, I'm going to use multiple different large language models to actually use them as thinking partners and make them talk to one another in order to be able to come up with a plan of what I need to do. I'm not going to rely on humans and I'm not going to rely on a old school travel agent. I'm going to rely on AI to bring it all home for me. So maybe you're like me and you've lived in the same place for umpteen years. You know all of your favorite trails, you know all of your favorite activities, your favorite restaurants, your favorite things to do. Well, how are you going to find all those things in a new place? I'm going to use AI to identify those activities and those things that I love in a completely foreign land. 2 months ago, I flew out to Miami to meet up with people that I've been working with online for the past year and made the decision that it was time for me to get out of my comfort zone and move into more of a digital nomad style lifestyle. And so one of the people that I work with sent me the opportunity to maybe move down to a country where I don't necessarily speak the language fluently, but gave me a tip on what kind of places I could be looking at and the style of nomad lifestyle I could be experiencing down there. So I get a tip as to the style of housing I could be looking into. And I immediately just went to the old school Google. And of course, you get Airbnb right at the top, which I was like, that isn't right. And I started clicking on some of the stuff and it wasn't bringing up any of the right information. I had to scroll all the way down to where the unsponsored results are to actually get what one of my colleagues was trying to send to me. So now the next step really is let's go ahead and check out their website. And when I was on their website and browsing through a lot of stuff, I was getting that it wouldn't show me what these places were going to cost. So I just described to Gemini exactly what was going on, gave Gemini the website, and I just wanted to know like what am I looking at as far as monthly rent? And it immediately tells me that this is a high performance choice. And then based on the monthly expenditures here, it obviously is and was a little bit out of my price zone. But I also got to see different things that these nomad lifestyle apartment complexes actually offer that I didn't even know actually existed. So I give it more parameters because I need to be able to be on a budget similar to like what I was living on before and gave it the parameters and basically told it that I need to make a little bit of a pivot. And it comes up with various different suggestions based on what I asked it to do. Now, I actually haven't read all of this. So I'm going to be going from a luxury hotel to basically a digital nomad apartment or high end style co living. Sounds like a plan to me. So it definitely gave me a bunch of information here, and what I found is that it gave me a different neighborhood to actually look into. And what I want to do now is see if I can get some imagery or anything else from those specific buildings. Considering I would still want to maybe live up above the city so I could have good views, what would you recommend that is inside my budget and provides the views and lifestyle that I'm looking for? All right, so it gave me three different options. One is out of the question because that's actually living at a paragliding launch site. Um, and at the end down here, it essentially asked me, do you want me to look at specific complexes in these regions so that they have like high speed internet? So let's go ahead and tell it, yes, I'd like you to do that. And I'm going to ask it to also with great views and great vibes. So what Gemini came up with originally was to have me look at Airbnbs, but it also gave me this other local site that I've never heard of before. Okay, so now what I've done is I've hopped over to ChatGPT and I'm going to just cut and paste what Gemini has been recommending to me into my travel chat that I've had multiple different discussions with about what I like to do, where I like to go, and the things that I want to do in a digital nomad lifestyle. And the reason that I'm putting it into this travel chat and not just continually going back and forth with Gemini is sometimes you'll just find that AI will take you off on a tangent. And once you actually have used a different large language model and then told it you have, and then told it, this is what the other large language model said, what do you think? It'll almost bring it back from going off on some hallucination journey and bring it back to reality and make its answers a little bit more concrete for you. So let's just paste that entire chat in and see what we get. This is going to be interesting. Okay, what I'm going to do is drop here in the chat a discussion that I was having with another large language model. You might know her. It's Gemini from Google. And I want you to analyze what recommendations Gemini has been giving me. And I want you to come up with even better ones and tell me why they're better rationalizations for what I'm trying to accomplish. So here's where Gemini's logic breaks down. Dun, dun, dun. Mistake number one, treating views, quote unquote views, as a lifestyle luxury. For you, views are not aesthetic. They are a brand asset, psychological regulation, which would be true, and creative fuel. Gemini was framing them as nice to have, constraint by budget. That's backwards. Okay. Mistake number two, over indexing on wherever this place is as your final answer. Good, but it's not optimal for your edge. I'm comfortable with slopes. Yep. Da, 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 da. Less than exit velocity to launches. Quiet. Yeah, that's very true. Good job, GPT. So these are some really interesting points that I never even told it in the last chat, but the flatness of where I live doesn't matter to me much. It is important for me to be able to get out of wherever I live and get to other places rather efficiently. I do like quiet and visual dominance of the valley. I do want to have some views. So uh, those three things are super important to me. And then mistake number three, not explicitly separating the base versus node. Gemini implicitly tried to make one place do everything. That's not efficient. So GPT is suggesting one stable base, one flexible, like flying place, essentially. Um, and it actually came up with some pictures down here. So one thing that I really liked that Chat GPT did that Gemini wasn't doing is it actually brought me up visual pictures of what I would be looking at if I went to each one of these places. And that's what was missing with Gemini. And so that's why I want to encourage you to always use multiple different large language models and ask it multiple different questions so that you can actually get results that you're looking for. This is so much more useful than what Gemini came up with, which was just a bunch of words. So, if you're ready to step out of your comfort zone, maybe become a digital nomad, or just start playing around with AI in general, go ahead and like this video and hit the subscribe button. Come along with me on this journey of me stepping out into the unknown, and I'll see you in the next one.